The city of Indianapolis has already broken last year's grim record for criminal homicides, and we're not even in November yet. So this weekend, businesses and community leaders are teaming up for a ceasefire weekend. Basically, they're asking everybody to put the guns down for 72 hours and come together as one community. This rising gun violence that we've seen here is a real issue that hits home for so many Hoosier families, and not just those who lose their loved ones. Tonight, our Emily Longnecker begins our big story with the struggle one survivor faces years later.
Well, so often we talk about the people who pass away from gun violence in this city. The other side to that story is the people who don't. Gunshot victims who survive, oftentimes with injuries that have life-changing consequences.
I was shot 3 times.
25-year-old Mackenzie is one of them.
Once in the neck, and it permanently paralyzed me.
She doesn't want us to say her last name because the person who's responsible for putting Mackenzie in this wheelchair for the rest of her life after shooting her more than 3 years ago has never been caught.
Nothing's happened, so we hope and pray that someday what goes around comes around.
This was Mackenzie before the summer of 2018. The then 22-year-old had her own apartment and was planning to go to esthetician school. That all changed one August night when Mackenzie's mom says someone opened fire on her daughter and Mackenzie's then boyfriend, who she believes was the target.
They were shooting up the car. She fell out of the car onto the ground, and the gunman came up and shot her. I think that was the point blank when it hit her in the neck, and that's the one that paralyzed her.
But the shooting didn't just change Mackenzie's life, it changed her mom Amy's too.
I lost my job of 23 years due to not having anybody to take care of her.
So that's what Amy does now, because Mackenzie needs care 24/7. At night, she sleeps on a ventilator so she can breathe.
But this is the part that people don't understand. This is the other side of what can happen to people.
The bright spots are there. Mackenzie's learning to paint with her mouth and play the harmonica. But every day is still a struggle.
And I've come a long way, but I will never get my movement back. And that's what's sad. That's what's the hardest part of dealing with all of this.
Your heart just goes out to Mackenzie, and it's stories like Mackenzie's and countless others that push community leaders to organize this ceasefire weekend. They're hoping it's enough to push others to expand the movement past just 72 hours.
Then more love is spread out amongst our city and amongst our communities where these things are happening at, and hopefully through doing so, then we'll see a reduction in the violence.
We've got the details on this weekend ceasefire posted right now on WTHR.com. And that wraps up tonight's big story.